How did President Theodore Roosevelt's daughter introduce the pattern to America in 1902? Theodore Roosevelt's daughter, Alice, was a fashion icon in her time. In 1902, she introduced the idea of patterns to America. Before Alice's introduction of the concept of patterns to America, women were expected to buy individual pieces of clothing and sew them together themselves. Alice Roosevelt's introduction of the idea of patterns led to an explosion in the fashion industry. Women could now buy a dress and wear it over and over again without having to worry about sewing it each time they wanted to wear it. Alice Roosevelt took a political risk when she introduced the idea of patterns to America. She was a member of what would become known as the Roosevelt family. Theodore Roosevelt, her father, became president in 1901. This is important because many people found it difficult to trust that the clothes they were buying in department stores would last for a long time. If one didn't have time to sew their own clothes, they could purchase ready-made dresses, pants, and other clothing from department stores. The expansion of the fashion industry was also due to the development of mass production. In 1885, Singer created the first sewing machine that could produce hundreds of garments per hour. This allowed clothing manufacturers to make more clothes in a shorter amount of time, while still maintaining high-quality products, which resulted in a decline in the demand for homemade clothing. Women's liberation allowed women to participate in the fashion industry. The development of the sewing machine was a major step towards women's liberation, as it allowed them to purchase ready-made clothes from department stores rather than make their own from scratch. Widespread availability of ready-to-wear clothes resulted in a decline in demand for homemade clothing, which allowed women to purchase clothes without having a great deal of experience in making their own. This led to a decline in demand for homemade clothing and provided an easy way for women to maintain their households. House sewing machine was designed to be used by one hand and was created with a foot treadle that could operate the machine in either an up and down or side-to-side motion. House sewing machine was patented in 1851, and by 1854, Howe began producing sewing machines on a large scale. His machine had a simple design and was easy to use, so demand for the machines grew rapidly. Howe continued to develop new models of his machine until the Civil War interrupted production. When the Civil War ended, this led to an increase in the production of sewing machines. By 1861, Howe had sold more than 2,000 pieces of equipment. Howe died in 1879, and the company was passed on to his son Arthur Howe, who carried it on until 1891. From then to 1910, the company was run by Arthur's nephew, George Howe Jr. What does TR stand for on the first teddy bear's maker's labels? The TR stands for Teddy's Rival, which is the name of the company that created the first teddy bears. He was made by a company called Teddy's Rival, founded by Morris Michtom, who is also the creator of Candyland. This bear was designed with a cute bow on his head and a big bag of lollipops. He is sporting a red collar, pink shirt, blue overalls, and green hair. Not only is this cute bear a subject of cuteness, but also has a history. Teddy's Rival was created in 1903 by Morris Michtom, who was born in 1882 and raised in Lithuania. He came to the United States in 1890, and after creating the teddy bear, he retired from business at age 44. Morris Michtom's childhood and youth had many troubles. Examples of these may include poverty, an abusive father, the death of a young son, and a failed marriage. He was able to create this adorable teddy bear from his mixed emotions from the difficult times in his life. This is a lovable bear named Edward, who is wearing little shoes to go with his little coat. In spite of the pain and turmoil, he is still happy. The teddy bear sitting on the chair facing us reminds us that the worst is always over. How did the teddy bear become a huge commercial success today? The teddy bear has a long history and is the most popular stuffed toy in the world. However, it was not always that way. It took a lot of effort to make it as successful as it is today. The teddy bear can be traced back to 1903, when President Roosevelt refused to shoot an old grizzly bear and instead had him sent to the Bronx Zoo. This incident inspired a Brooklyn-based company called Morris & Company, which specialized in producing toys for children, to produce a stuffed version of this bear for sale at the 1904 St. Louis World Fair. The teddy bear became an instant hit with visitors, but unfortunately, there was no demand from retailers. In 1906, Morris and Company's president Morris Michtom decided to create his own store, and he named it Teddy Bear's Picnic. The first teddy bear was created in England in the early 1900s and was named after the then Prime Minister, Edward VII, who also happened to be a big fan of stuffed animals. Over the years, the teddy bear has acquired many different meanings. The term may refer to a sentimental stuffed toy, or it may be used as a general term for such stuffed animals. It can also mean a teddy bear who helps people in difficult times and is always there to support them. Regardless of its original meaning, the teddy bear is considered one of the most popular stuffed animals in modern culture. Stuffed animal can also refer to a particular type of plush toy. It is usually made of fur or another material to give it a fuzzy texture. The teddy bear's most prominent feature is its large head that appears to be almost as large as the rest of its body. The large head is usually round and smooth, but can be more irregular in shape. The eyes are usually made of glass and are often dark. Some teddy bears have a nose, which is not always present. The mouth is simple and generally closed to keep the plush from getting dirty when it is played with or stuffed. Similar to other animals, the ears can be floppy or upright. The feet of the toy are usually made of fabric and are covered with a soft material, such as felt. In addition to being stuffed with synthetic stuffing, teddy bears are often given other design features, such as embroidery stitches on the head and arms, colorful designs on their ears and paws, bows and ribbons on their wrists and ankles, and professional toy makers have designed teddy bears with eyes, noses, buttons or other features that are removable tethern. A length of rope or chain used for restraining an animal, a long strap, usually made of leather, worn around the waist and secured by a buckle at one end for holding on to animals. Thank you for watching how the first teddy bear is invented, and don't forget to subscribe, please.